Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. I kind of been holding something, I haven't really said it much. I did post on Instagram and whatnot, but we have a little bit of a mess going on right now. So as you can see, I got a table full of valve train parts and we got no cylinder heads. So I got the car fired up last weekend. I've been chasing, like, I have a vibration that I thought I had, and I was chasing it. I had the car lifted up in the air, changed oil, cut the filter, everything's fine. I changed rear gear oil, that was fine. Tranny fluid, it's expensive, I don't want to touch it. It's proper level, but I didn't want to change it just yet. So I had the car lifted up, I was checking everything, you know, converter bolts, anything hardware under the car. I just wanted to make sure everything was good. And then I decided, all right, let's just put fresh plugs and wires in it. Got it running. I had the car fully warmed up. I put it up on the two-step. It seemed super happy and healthy. And then all of a sudden, there started water dripping on the ground. So look up at the block. I'll insert a photo right here, and this is what I saw. So obviously water was coming out of the cylinder head between the head gasket. So in a frantic, I pulled the heads off the car, and while doing so, I did it while the heads were warm. So, as I'll show you off this header bolt, I have a bunch of bolts that look just like this, where you can see the threads are still on the bolt. So I had a bunch of holes strip out of my cylinder heads. So I was kind of upset about that. Now, fortunately, I have two pairs of cylinder heads that were just off of a vehicle. I had the 799s I got with my new 5.3 engine, and I also had a set of 243 heads. And so it wasn't that big of a deal. I have these other heads, and I also just received a package from Brian Tooley Racing. I bought pistons, and I also bought a full spare valve train, because that way, you know, I can have a spare cylinder head done up, and I have a spare for drag week and whatnot. So it was kind of good timing. I wouldn't say this happened. So these heads were deemed no good anymore. Also, I mean, there is more stuff wrong with them. Like I said before, if you guys remember, we have a spark plug hole that wasn't all that great. On that same head, it's got two valve cover bolt holes that weren't good. And then once I started pulling the heads off and all the exhaust manifold stud threads went with it, I was like, screw it, let's see if we can get these other heads done up. Fortunately, I have the best machine shop ever, CW Pence, Castleberry, Florida. They hooked me up tremendously. They were able to get me a pair of heads ready to go for this weekend. So that is what's going to happen now. I got to put them on the car. But sitting at work all week, you know, it kind of bugged me. It's like, I had no loss of compression. The engine was healthy, but why did the head gasket fail? And we figured something out finally. So if I show you on this engine block, you can see right here, and that's where, you can see right here, there was like the water leaking. You can see that right there. It's kind of hard to show you, but that's where the water was leaking from. Now, looking at the cylinder heads, we noticed something very strange. If you look right here, there's like a notch in the head. I don't know if it's hard to tell with the flash, but yeah, you can see the notch right there. This head doesn't have the notch. This head does have the notch. So I guess I've been using the wrong head gaskets this entire time. I was supposed to use notched head gaskets. So at least we found the issue. All right, so I wasn't expecting to end the clip so soon, but I realized my battery was dead. So anyway, so looking and finally understanding. So you can see I have a clear compression line right around the ring of the seal of the head. But right there, it just had no real sealing of the water jacket. So at least we have an idea of what happened. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to just resurface this, put gaskets and whatnot. So because of the notch and all the messed up thread holes, decided to put the 243s on. I will lose a little bit of compression. However, it should actually gain a little bit of, I'd say quite a bit of airflow at my horsepower level. Usually down low, the compression helps with horsepower, but we'll see. If I need to run 2 more pounds of boost to compensate, that's not that big of a deal. So either way, going into this weekend, it's gonna be nice because we're gonna have a fresh seal on the heads. The heads are 100% ready to go, and I think we'll be in good shape for this weekend. So this weekend, we're going up to Charlotte for Streetcar Takeover Charlotte. It's at ZMAX, which is a 4-lane drag strip. So we are leaving tomorrow night to drive through the night and make it there. So I basically have, I don't know, 24 hours to get this car ready to go and packed and on the road. So that is what we are doing right now. Time to clean up my block deck. I'm going to shellac the head gaskets, and we'll go ahead and put the driver's side head on first, and then work on the passenger side. Alright, so it's been a little bit of time. I got one head on and torqued. I stepped up from 85 to 90 pounds this time just to do it. Just got this side all cleaned up. So I just wanted to note, these are stock pistons. You can see it's got like the cross in it. Let's see here. This is still the same stock bottom end motor that I've been running. And I will say, like, everything looks so beautiful. The pistons are absolutely beautiful. Like, there's no crazy wear marks or detonation or anything like that. So, like, I'm super happy with this still. One thing that was funny is I went to go spray brake cleaner on the bottom of the head. I asked the lady for a case of brake clean. And then apparently in the mix, there's engine degreaser. So I just had to clean the head a bunch twice, because I thought I was cleaning it with brake clean the first time. No, it was engine degreaser. So I'm about to shellac up the second gasket, throw it on, and put the other head on, and keep rocking with this. Hopefully a couple more hours till I get to fire it up. That's the goal. Yay, that's the goal. Well, for being at the time it is now almost 10 o'clock at night. Both of the heads are torqued on. I started putting the valve train on, and I noticed whenever I tightened any of the rocker arms down, it was actually compressing all the valve springs. So I'm at a point now where I'm pretty freaking confused. I have the pushrod length checker tool, and I've been measuring the physical length of the push rods, and what I have is supposed to be ideal for what I need. So I'm assuming, like, they claim these LS7 lifters are supposed to have like 100,000 worth of preload, and it's just, I feel like I have exactly 100,000 preload based off my my measurement, and it's compressing all the springs. So I think I need shorter push rods, which kind of stinks because we're kind of in a time crunch right now, and I'd be afraid if I actually have, I mean, I can't imagine the lifters will be bad, but I'm just kind of in a frantic right now because I'm not sure. This is kind of still newish territory for me because I've really never messed with that pushrod engine before. Whenever I did this, all the looking around measuring with Brian last year when we were trying to figure out what was wrong with this engine, you know, we measured the push rods and we determined, yes, this is good, but maybe I have too much preload. I don't remember. I don't know. It's one of those things, like, I've been steady thinking and measuring, and my brain's going a million miles an hour, and I'm gonna go inside and take a chill for a little bit and try to do some more research and figure out exactly something. Just sucks because exactly 24 hours from now this car needs to be in the trailer. So the best thing is, I guess, is I know Brian Tooley Racing should be vending there at the track this weekend. So if I do determine that I need a shorter push rod, they would probably have it with them in stock. So I mean, I'm okay if I could button this thing up and put it in the trailer. I'm okay with that. It's whatever. But man, I'd really like to get this thing running at home. So I think I'm gonna pause for now. I got a bunch of stuff inside the house I need to do, like laundry and whatnot. So we'll do that, and I'm gonna try to give my brain a little relaxation for a little bit. Alrighty, so here's an update from midnight. I gotta turn my music off. So my machinist Jeff, I love this man to death. He's always helped me with the machine work. I mean, he works for CW Pets, which is who I've been dealing with for many years now, and he's been kind of helping me out via Instagram Messenger. So basically what he told me to do is he wanted me to bleed down all the lifters. So I did. basically would take all the bolts, loosen them all the way up, and I would snug them by hand on both sides. And he told me just keep spinning the motor over. If any came loose, you snug them down by hand, keep spinning the motor, and, excuse me, we basically bled down all the lifters. Now, all of the lifters are torqued to the 30 foot-pounds they need to be. So right now, you can see it's got a little side-by-side, and then it does have a little bit of plunge. It's hard to capture on camera, but you can see some have a little bit more than others, whatnot, and he told me this is exactly what we wanted. So now I'm doing it to all of them that are at basically the small side of the camshaft, and the only one that rocks back and forth but I cannot push down is this number 8. So ultimately I believe that means that that push rod's too long, which I personally think they're all kind of long, but I'm waiting on a reply back from him now. But I think that's kind of the consensus, is maybe they're 25 thousandths too long, but I'm gonna see what he has to say. But based off what he's been telling me, I mean, they're all, I mean, they're very much at the end of the plunge. So I would think that we'd probably want a little bit more tolerance than that. But I'll wait to see what he says. But the good news is I can spin the whole motor over by hand. I mean, nothing's bending, nothing's touching. Well, I guess as of now. So at least now I could be clear enough to put the intake manifold back on and start piecing the rest of the stuff together. So I was just so afraid that there's something wrong with the lifters and I had to pull the heads back off. So at least that's off my chest. I keep plugging away at this thing. Good morning, guys. It is currently 10 o'clock in the morning. I think it's like 10:30 a.m., something like that. And still couldn't figure out anything. So from what my machinist told me is if I bleed down all the lifters by turning the engine over by hand, if I feel any plunginess still left over, then that means we're good to go. The push rods are the correct length. So as you can see, I just pulled the head off again. So if I go, let's say here, you see how like right here, I'm able to go in and out with this lifter. I'm able to go in and out with this one. I'm able to go in and out with that one. I'm able to go in and out with this one. I'm able to go in and out with that one. But the second I get over here to the other cylinder 8, that thing's hard as a rock. I can't plunge it. So I am curious if that lifter on the inside has failed. Because, I mean, in my theory, is if all of these other lifters have springiness to them, why wouldn't that one? And I've already pumped them down like I did something I shouldn't do. So the push rod checker tool, you're not really supposed to put your spring pressure on. And I don't know where I put it. I threw it in here because I was mad. Nonetheless, the push rod checker tool I have now is absolutely bent and I can't use it. Because what I tried doing is I was like, all right, well, I can't plunge the lifter. So what if I just overextended the push rod length checker tool to make it force plunge its, you know, bleed itself out, and it just bent the tool. So obviously it's not the right answer, and I'm assuming that lifter's locked up. Thankfully I have a spare set of lifters. So I'm gonna put in 8 lifters on this side. Yay. And then I gotta run to friggin' Chevy, grab another head gasket, clean it all up, retorque this on, and that's gonna be my fun time. We have to leave in 12 hours. Oh boy. Alright, so it is now 1:45 p.m. This is Friday. And we now have the head bolted on. Everything's torqued on and double checked all the lifters. I pumped everything down again. So if it's got a little bit of side to side wiggle, I'm able to plunge it. A little side to side wiggle, I'm able to plunge it. And the new one, all of them are able to be plunged. So I'm curious. I mean, my machinist doesn't think that was the issue, or that was an issue. He said just a couple cycles over, it should have been fine. But it was kind of one of those deals, if I didn't have the intake on and I still had everything pretty much disassembled, it wasn't that much work for me just to go back real quick and do it. I mean, granted, it's not real quick, but in the grand scheme of things, I didn't have to pull off an intake manifold, like everything again. So that's out of the way. All 16 rockers, they do the wiggle when they're all bled down. So according to Jeff, that's it's okay. So I guess we're in good shape. I'm very thankful that I did end up ordering a spare set of lifters. Like last week I ordered a full spare set of lifters and a full set of valve springs. That way I can take one of my spare 799 heads and work them up and have a full spare for drag week. But it looks like I'm using all the parts on this engine now, so I'm gonna have to order another set of lifters at least. But the springs, we're just gonna take the springs out of my old heads. I mean, they're still in good shape. I mean, I do want to get them, I do want to test the seats on them to see how much pressure they still have. So, I mean, we can figure out if they're still good or not. I just thought it was a good idea just to buy a fresh set of springs while I had the opportunity to. Because, I mean, you can never go too, I don't know the term. You can never be too preventative maintenance-y. So, I just want to make sure this engine's happy. This engine has really done me well, and I just want to treat her right. Oil changes pretty often and go through and replace all the wearables. And so I just found out, I guess Jeff wasn't feeling that great. I guess his back's been hurting him, and he mentioned earlier this week that he didn't know if he was going to go, but now he's messaged me saying he wants to go. So I'm very happy. Now it's going to be the full squad, me, Juan, and Jeff. So anyway, I'm going to keep plugging away at this. I got a lot to do, and still got to obviously pack up the car, pack up the trailer, food, drink, all that stuff. So still got a lot to do. Yeah, buddy. Well, it's 5:30 at night, and obviously you guys saw the car was just running. So I had it running, I was revving it, and it just sounded funky, like there was a big miss to it. And I guess I forgot to connect the map sensor. So nonetheless, I think I got a couple bit more tidying up to do. Got to type a harness, plug the water temp sensor, or route the wire. But I just got a little bit more to do. I think we're good to go. So I'm gonna let it cool off. I'm gonna warm it up again, and then I'll end up putting on the trans brake just to make sure it's holding boost and everything like that. And then I guess it'll go in the box tonight. Unfortunately, it's been freaking storming all afternoon now. Like, we got so much water built up on the bottom of the driveway. The neighborhood ducks are just living their best life right there. The neighbor, I call him Nature Boy, but he likes to raise a bunch of wild animals. He's got a bunch of chickens, quail, and duck and whatnot. So whenever the ducks get big enough, he releases them into the lake in the backyard. But it's funny to see them all walking around. So I think I'm gonna yeah, I'm happy, much happier than I was earlier. So everything looks good. I mean, nothing really hiccuped on the way back together, which is good. I just filled up the intercooler box again. It's got water in it. I just want to do another heat cycle on it, just get it up to full temp, and then I think I'm in good shape. So I gotta make a couple errands. I gotta go to the store and get more distilled water. Gotta go to Lowe's and pick up a new table for the trailer. The old table doesn't fit because we installed some cabinets. So I gotta do some more errands, and then hopefully this rain dies off in the next few hours and start packing the trailer up, and we're gonna get on the road tonight. So appreciate you guys watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one.